All right, so my name is Dawn Dimick, and I am with the Interfaith Leadership Fellows here at Utah State. And we just wanted to do a little presentation on what interfaith is and why it's important. So to start off, interfaith is just cooperative and positive interaction between people of different faith traditions or worldviews, and this can be at a personal individual level or at a larger organizational level. It's less about learning about different religions and more about learning about the people who believe in those religions. So it's more about connecting the way that we connect with people and with religion or our worldviews. So this is a little explanation of a survey that was done on Utah State's campus a couple of years ago. It just explains the dynamic of the way that we orient to religion as students on campus. So you can see that it reflects a large religious majority of the LDS faith, and then other religions and people who don't identify with a religion at all as being in the minority. Because of this dynamic, there can be, and this isn't just unique to Utah or to our campus, but whenever there's a religious majority and minority, there can be perceptions that harbor contention or ill feelings, and it's not necessarily intended that way. So from the surveys that were done, students saw USU as more religious in general, but less diverse and less welcoming of groups that weren't part of that majority. And because of this, USU's campus was seen as more divisive and cliquish, and that other worldviews are less accepted. When this happens, it's very difficult for us to want to share ourselves. We tend to feel, students expressed in this survey that they tended to feel like they couldn't express themselves or bring their whole worldview, their framework, who they were to the table, and it can create a dynamic on campus where we don't want to step outside of our comfort zone, and religion and the things that are important to us become taboo subjects. So normally when we'd be in person, we could take a chance to discuss this together, but just go ahead and take a moment to reflect on your experience at USU, kind of what you were hoping or expecting your college experience to be like, and what you've experienced up to this point. Have you felt like you've had a safe space on campus to share who you are? And while you think on that, I'll just go ahead and share my own experience because it might spark some dialogue in your own head or conversations with other people. I came from Las Vegas, and I do identify as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is the religious majority here on campus. However, I am involved in a lot of different organizations as well that contribute to who I am as a person and my identity. And it became difficult. Sometimes it's difficult to feel like I'm an insider within my own faith group because I feel different by being part of these other organizations. And I didn't feel like I could express myself completely. As soon as somebody asked if I was LDS and I said that I was, it was kind of like they knew everything about me, or they didn't want to ask more about who I was. They assumed that they knew everything about me. So it took me a long time to feel like I could bring my whole self to the table and express what I believed and who I was fully. But interfaith work has given me the chance to do that, engaging with people who are different and who are similar, and just learning to embrace those differences and similarities has helped me kind of come into who I am. So whether or not you feel like you have been able to express yourself on campus, overall, students want to be able to do so. A lot of students don't feel like they've been able to up to this point. Whether or not that was your own experience, that is something that exists on this campus, and it's important to be aware of, because our faith commitments and how we orient to religion is important to who we are. It frames the way that we make decisions and a lot of our interactions with other people, and motivates us in different ways. And we should be able to share these things with each other because in doing so, we're able to share ourselves. And just a last note, there's a lot of students who have come to Utah State or who might still be here but are suffering because they don't feel like they can bring their whole selves, or they don't feel like they have a space on this campus. So we've lost a lot of students in the past who have left and aren't a student anymore because they don't feel like there's a place for them here, or there's just feelings of isolation while you are a student. So to conclude, spirituality is an important part of our university experience, and we should be able to share who we are. However, we're not that diverse at USU. We need to cultivate an atmosphere where everyone feels safe to share. However, it's difficult to start that conversation sometimes. So how can we feel safe and how can we feel heard in starting this dialogue? Some of the best ways to do it are online, since we're all cooped up for this near future. There's a lot of trainings online and videos that talk more about what interfaith is and how we can look at our own selves, our own biases in our interactions with people so that we can learn how to better negotiate difference and to improve our relationships with people that are different than us or who think differently than we do. There's also a leadership certificate program through USU that can be attached onto any degree program. It's a couple of classes, and it just encourages dialogue about those things as well and teaches you how to engage with difference and create spaces where we can foster diversity. And last but not least, we have an Instagram page that is listed here that you can go follow, and we have links to articles and events when we do events again on campus and in the community, and as well as personal interviews with people who are sharing their stories about what it means to them to be an Aggie and coupled with how they orient to religion on campus. And that concludes my presentation.